Learning styles is a unique challenge for those of us who are educating sellers. We have, most of us, many people joining our organizations from millennials and younger, all the way to seasoned professionals, each with a differing range of experience, knowledge, expertise, and beliefs in how effective selling is done in the marketplace today. And if you, like me, have groupings of as many as 8, 10, 12 sellers that you're working to educate at a time, or even in an advanced workshop where you might have as many as 50, 75, or 80 sellers, how are you going to address the needs of all different learning styles at the same time and make your trainings memorable? We first need to look at different individual learning styles and remember that we can't look at these styles through our own lens. Some people are extremely data-centric and they love a good flow chart, a good pie chart, a good graph. They love data. They can really bite into the data and that makes sense for them. Others are auditory learners and they need to hear and they need to absorb and listen. Some people can only take in information if they're hands-on, if they're in it, if they're playing with it, if they're doing research, if they're playing games. And there's another subsection of our learners that are going to embrace the ability to teach as a learning mechanism. So each one of these, and I'm sure there are lots more, are different ways that we as educators need to present learning in a multitude of different formats and fashions so that regardless of the learning styles that are present in the room, there's something for everyone. Now, it would be virtually impossible, short of having a 3-ring circus, to have this all going on simultaneously. So we need to look at ways that we can present training, represent training, library training, catalog training, and bring training in different formats that will be accessible to all. Some of these are going to be a central repository where collateral and information and data and white papers and case studies and product updates can all be housed for easy access to your sellers. You need to have a robust search mechanism and a really, really great branching logic built up so that sellers aren't spending excess time looking for current versions of documents as they are required in short time. If you're fortunate enough to have a sales enablement platform, you just leapfrogged over a lot of complexity. I'm also a really big proponent of an LMS, be it a very complex LMS or a simpler LMS, to house recordings. These can be recordings of trainings, they can be recordings of presentations, of best practices, of your subject matter experts, of your certification programs. So once again, those auditory learners can learn from one another, they can learn from your experts, and they can go back and watch those recordings again and again until they find ease with messaging. And lastly, of course, live trainings. And those live trainings can also be recorded and housed in your LMS, but they have tremendous value, particularly if you can have your sellers participate in the live trainings. And that's going to help those learners who really engage by teaching. And you'd be amazed how if you engage your sellers in the teaching experience, how much they can gain by participating in the actual training. And your other Your other sellers love to hear best practices. They love to hear what's working for other members of the staff, and they love hearing from their co-sellers, not only because they're competitive and they want to hear what their other co-sellers are doing really well, but it's always great to hear from the people who are out in the field getting it done. So with that, I hope I've given you some new ideas on teaching styles and the ways that we can bring those to life for our sellers.